Good morning. How's everybody today? Sorry, I'm figuring things out. Do you guys know who's here with me today? Come here, you little munchkin. Come here, you little munchkin. Look, I have a little baby. I do, I have a little baby. Good morning, everybody. How are we doing today? Happy Monday, happy new week. Welcome to our weekly intention setting practice and our yoga practice for this Monday. So normally when I teach yoga here in the Luna Charlotte Island Yoga, I bring Ringo with me. We'll see how he does for today's live class. He's vibrating like he's purring like a cat.
He's looking at me really weird.
Are you excited? You are. I know you are. So welcome, you guys. Let's do some logistical things first. Like if my husband wants to make me a coffee.
Okay.
That's all I want is a cup of coffee.
Ringo keeps looking into camera one.
Ringo looks into camera one. Ringo, hi. Okay, you guys. So Dennis is gonna make me a coffee. Is he still in the shot?
Not in camera, not on that camera.
But he's so cozy. Look at all his legs. He has so many legs. Okay, look, Ringo has way more legs than the average dog. He has at least like 9 or 11 legs. Look at them. And then, no, but now you're screwing up my phone. Wait. No, you have to lift it up. You have to lift it up. Okay, there. You can be there. Nope. Okay, it's fine. Okay, you guys, I have so much to share. I have so many things to dive into. We are about to do a full-length 1-hour yoga practice. If you're watching this anywhere else but yogagirl.com, head over there right now because physical practice is going to happen over there in a couple of minutes. We're going to kind of set our intention. We're going to pull a card for the day, maybe a card for the week even if we get a good one. I always do that. If I get a card that really resonates, I'm like, this is the card for the whole week. And if I get a card that I don't feel as much, I'm like, I'll pull a new one later. Like I'll pull a new one tomorrow. But we have so much happening right now. So we have a sun in Gemini, moon is in Cancer today. I'm gonna take a moment to read a little bit about our daily astrology. And I don't know about you, but I'm kind of feeling this transition from Taurus energy into Gemini energy right now. I feel a little scattered. I feel a little flaky. I feel very talkative. Ringo is a Taurus, in case you can't tell right now. Is this normal for a dog? Okay, so let me pull up my little phone here. I'm gonna read to you guys just the Cafe Astrology kind of astro of the day. It's super short, but in case you're feeling in any way, if you're wondering kind of what the day has in store, or if you're feeling specific energies today and you want to have a reason as to why you're feeling this way, for me, that's why astrology to me makes so much sense, because sometimes it just validates my feelings, right? Or it validates my behavior, my energy, gives us a little permission slip to be the way we are.
Still not ready to wish.
No coffee? Okay. It's May 25th. It's Monday today. And today, the moon spends the day in nourishing, receptive Cancer. We seek out familiarity, safety, and quiet with the Cancer moon. We can be quiet, nostalgic, rooted, and domestic. We readily turn tensions into winning situations now as the moon harmonizes with Mars. It's a good time for activities that engage our emotions. Mercury heads into alignment with Vesta, and we can enjoy dedicating ourselves to a special interest or project. I kind of feel that way. I don't know if it's pandemic feeling. I have another thing on the moon in Cancer. So we had a Gemini moon, now it's a Cancer moon, which gives way to an instinctive need for peace and quiet. A feeling of belonging and safety is what motivates us under the influence of a Cancer moon. The moon feels right at home in the sign of Cancer as it rules the sign. This moon position has much healing potential. Although insular by nature, our feelings run deep, making it an ideal time to get in touch with what motivates us. The moon in Cancer generally favors the following activities. Domestic activities. That means staying home. Those that involve awareness of personal needs, home decor, family get-togethers, anything you're doing at home and around the house. Cancer is a total home body. So I'm guessing that already aligns with what a lot of us are doing these days. Here in Aruba, today is the first day that daycare, schools and things are open again. Dennis and I made the decision to not bring Leia to daycare, actually for the simple reason that she hasn't been interacting with other kids super well. I think she feels really overwhelmed by the fact that she's been all alone at home with us, and then all of a sudden we've had play dates and it's weird. And if we brought her to daycare this morning and something would have happened or she would be really unhappy or want to go home, we wouldn't be able to pick her up because we're here with you guys. So we're thinking daycare might start tomorrow. But for me, this is bringing up a lot of feelings of control, I guess. I kind of prefer being told, like in crisis situations like this, like, you know, not being allowed to go home. Okay, I know I can do that. Now it's kind of like we have more choice, which obviously it's really good. We've been longing for this, but that also for me means what if we start going out and about and then there's a second wave of this virus or something crazy happens, and then it's kind of our choice, right? Do we choose to stay home longer or do we choose to start venturing out? And along with this, every time we have a transition of any kind comes this need to just go with the flow, to let go. I decided that I will not walk around living in fear every day. For me, that is not an option. Literally, I have two options. I'm going to either stay home and continue staying home, or we go out and about. We put Leia back in daycare. We go out to eat. We start doing those things. We open the studio. But I will not do those things with fear. Like, I cannot. Then I just have to completely trust. And I think that's a big need that we all have right now, is the need to anchor into the present moment, to feel our feet on the ground, and to trust, right? And we're all in different places depending on, of course, where we are in the world. Some places this is still, you know, really, really, really bad and really strict, and it's really, the idea of things easing up feels really far away, and I know that might feel triggering to some people. I know I felt that way when Aruba was in total lockdown, and I had friends in Sweden who were out partying and going to cafes and having a fun time. I felt really triggered by that. So getting really present with our emotions right now is a really good thing, especially also now for this Cancer moon, but to not dive into reactivity or to reacting if you're feeling all of a sudden swept up into frustration or drama or jealousy or anger or something like that comes your way. To really give yourself the space and time to sit with what triggered you, get intimate with that feeling, like where did this reaction comes from and what am I actually experiencing right now, you know, so that we're not, so we're moving mindfully through this new transition that's kind of coming our way. Is this funny? I feel like this is really funny. Look at this dog. He's like a pretzel. I have a journaling prompt. I have a journaling prompt for us. So I don't know if you're watching this, if you took our new moon ceremony on Friday. We had a big new moon ceremony where we did 2 hours of practice, of prayer, of meditation, of journaling, of getting really clear with our intentions and goals in 5 different areas of our lives. And now, this week, especially with the sun in Gemini, we might be feeling a little bit all over the place. I decided to set the collective intention to get focused, right? To get focused. And for me, the first step to getting focused is prioritizing my needs, right? So the old version of me, pre-pandemic Rachel, would already on Sunday kind of prepare what I have to do for the week. And at some point on Monday, I would write a huge to-do list, like purging every single thing I could possibly think of that I should be getting done onto paper. And then I would just decide to do all of it in one go, right? Which obviously was a challenging thing to do. But I would always get it done. And then I would realize that my priorities were always work was number 1, and then my kid, and then my husband. Sorry, husband, that you're below the kid. and then the house, and then other things, right? And then I would be left at the bottom of that list. So if I had time left over in the day, if I suddenly found myself with like a moment, then I would roll out my mat, or then I would sit in silence for a little bit, or then I would go for a walk, or I would do something for myself, but it would be the last thing, right? Now, post-pandemic people, we are not living that way anymore, right? We are not living that way anymore. Our needs are at the top of that list. And I think a really good intention for this week is to get clear on what our needs are, prioritizing them correctly, and then maybe picking one action item from each of the categories that we journaled on from the Friday new moon. If you missed the ceremony, if you didn't take the ceremony, I'm going to share the categories now. So we set intentions in 5 categories of life: mind, body, spirit, heart, and home. And for this week, since we know what our intentions are, we know what our goals are, I think it's a great idea to just pick one thing, like one action item that you pick today in each of those categories that you commit to honoring today, right? And perhaps you have one category that is kind of, I don't want to say overshadowing, but that's kind of in the limelight this week. Like for me, mind, which is work, career, abundance, finances, intellect, study, those kinds of things. We are going to open the studio this week, so that for me is a big priority, right? But I don't have to set 50 different action items on that to-do list of what to do with the studio. I'm going to identify the most important one and put that at the top of the list for today. One thing, right? And then I might find like, oh, I'm done with that thing. Maybe another thing comes up, which usually happens. And if I have space, I'll do that thing, right? But I am not going to let myself get swept up in the idea of stress or pressure or work or doing everything at the same time. No. So mind, body, spirit, heart, and home. I'll share this in Instagram story too, so you can come back to it. But mind is career, work, money, one action item that you want to do in terms of your business, something big that you feel like you want to tackle today, or maybe that you want to tackle this week. Body, of course, is well-being, wellness, health, your physical body, something that you're going to do to take care of your body today. How simple is that? But make it a priority, right? Put it at the very top of the list. For me, it's getting undisturbed time. So I'm used to practicing yoga with my kid crawling and climbing all over me. For me today, it's undisturbed time to close the door behind me, to get space, to practice on my own. Like that's what I need for my body today. To close the door, that's a big one. Spirit is spirituality, our connection to the divine, our connection to something greater than ourselves. Prayer, service for me also falls into this category. So something for your spirit today. And for me, I actually have like a tangible thing that I put on the top of that list. And I've shifted around my altar space at our house, and I want to finish the altar in my new little space in the house, so I can sit there for a moment and light a candle for a really special person in my life. Mind, body, spirit, heart. So heart is all of our relationship stuff, right? Our relationships to ourselves, relationships to our family, to our friends, to our babies, to our pets, to our Ringos. If I had, deepened my relationship with Ringo on the list, I feel like I could check that off after this moment. But I decided that I'm gonna make sure to get a date night with Mr. Tech Guy husband. You wanna go on a date with me? So. He's like, if you really wanna. To have actually a date night, which we haven't had in like 70 days. So that feels like a big thing. And then the final category that we have is home. And home, under that category falls our house, of course, our home, also our physical property, like material things, right? So the garden, for me, falls into that space. And I'm gonna keep gardening. Like, that's not such a challenging thing for me. Right, so that gives me 5 actionable steps that I can take today or that I can take this week, depending on how much I want to do. If you're feeling super productive and you want to do 10 things, like, you feel into the space. But getting focused this week and actually taking action so we can move toward those dreams and goals that we set for ourselves for this new moon. So we don't want to wait too long, right? You want to actually act on those intentions right away, but in a way that doesn't overwhelm us, in a way that doesn't make us feel stressed, that doesn't take away from our present moment. That's a really important one. So this week, we prioritize our needs, we get focused, and we take a bit of action. Is that a good intention? We prioritize our needs, we stay focused, and we take a bit of action. I'm not saying like go do 100 things at the same time. I'm not saying like suddenly take your small business that was closed for 2 months and make it thrive in a week. You know, like be realistic, be patient, and just do enough this week. You don't have to do more than that, just enough. And make sure you keep yourself, your baby, your husband, your greyhound at the top of the list. Does that feel good? Feels good for me. Hey, I don't know how I'm going to shuffle the cards with this child, but he's snoring like he's 100% asleep. I love him so much. Okay, let's... I have a new deck today.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to wake you. Go back to sleep. Go back to bed.
I have a new deck of cards. So we've been using the angel cards. It's the angel guide in daily angel, or I can't remember what it's called. It's the angel cards anyway. Now I have transitioned over to the fairy cards. Like I had one live class where these were jumbled and we had this deck with the other deck, but I haven't just used this deck for any reason. So I don't know, I just felt drawn to them today. They're a little lighter spirited. Yes? His ear is on the mic. Do you hear him snoring?
No, it's just crackling.
He's like a cat. He's purring like a cat. Okay, so these cards, they are a little bit lighter in terms of, like they feel, to me, they feel more like daily, day-to-day cards. They're good Gemini season cards, I think. Let's close our eyes. Let's close our eyes. And if we get really quiet, maybe we can hear Ringo snoring right now. So just as I shuffle the deck, we're going to pick our card. It could be our card for the day, hopefully a card for the week. And just take a moment right now to sink a little deeper into yourself. Take a moment right now to ground into the body, and to ground into the breath. And in this moment as you are, so we haven't begun our physical practice, and just take a moment to feel into the body right now. What does it feel like to be here, to reside here in your body in this moment in time? And whatever the answer to that question is, see if you can receive it wholeheartedly. You know, some days we wake up and we don't feel great. Okay. Some days we wake up and we're well rested and we feel ready to take on the day. Just notice how transient you are as a human being, that every day is a little bit different or a lot different than the day before. So it's good for us to allow for some transition there in that space, right? We don't have to wake up and feel the same way every day. We don't have to wake up and feel great every morning, you know. I'm trusting right now that whatever you're sitting with in this moment, that it makes sense, right? If you're feeling heavy right now, that it makes sense that there's heaviness here now. If you're feeling light and excited and energized, that makes sense. And if you have space for the breath to grow just a little bit deeper, go ahead and do that. Every inhale can be stretched a little further, a little deeper down to the center of the body. Each cycle of breath bringing with it some space for you to listen, and some space for you to feel, and some space for you to just be. And let's take one more deep, full breath in. Open the mouth. And blink the eyes open. Oh God, my hip flexors are killing me. Hey, child. Hey, you want to leave me now? Express your individuality. Allow your true self to shine because you're awesome. Has there ever been more of a Gemini card? Is there a card that reflects Gemini more than this?
It's really cracking a lot now.
But I'm not doing it. He's not touching me. Is it okay? Can you guys hear me? If you can't, complain to Dennis and then he'll fix it. No? Okay, let me read this card. It's probably that I have a... He's like very heavy also right now. No offense, Ringo, but... Here we go. Express your individuality. Allow your true self to shine because you're awesome. You drew this card because you worry about social acceptance. The fairies want to celebrate your uniqueness, since to them you're delightful and perfect just as you are right now. The fairies love your creativity and they urge you to just be yourself. Don't squelch your true self in order to gain other people's approval. Pretending doesn't work anyway, and you can't please everyone. Instead, enjoy being authentic and trust that like-minded people will be attracted to you. How wonderful is this? Who has had these thoughts, by the way, about social acceptance, you know, going back to being social, to gatherings, to society? Maybe a lot about you has changed in the pandemic, right? Maybe you feel like a different person. Maybe your body has changed in the pandemic. Maybe you've gained some weight. Maybe you've had big realizations about who you want to be, you know, about who you've been, what you don't want anymore. I love this first sentence. You drew this card because you worry about social acceptance. Who resonates with that? I resonate with that. I mean, I know Ringo does not, but I definitely do. I've had this feeling of like, I don't know if I know how to interact with people anymore. Like, I don't even know if I don't know if I like big groups of people anymore. Is it okay to say that? Is that bad? Like, we've been so used to our tiny little constellations or being alone. And the idea of like, for me, the idea of like putting on makeup and like going out to a restaurant, I don't know, it just feels weird. I don't know. Maybe I've forgotten how to interact socially, or maybe it is that I worry about being accepted as this newer version of myself, right? We're so used to being in these constellations where we are who we're supposed to be all the time. And now maybe we've changed, right? So if we've changed, that's a good thing. Hopefully we've changed. Anyone who comes out of this pandemic exactly the same they were before probably has not been doing the work, right? Probably hasn't been present with what's been going on. We should have changed for the better. So express your individuality. Allow your true self to shine because you're awesome. Additional meanings for this card is dress in a way that makes you truly happy. Trust and follow through with your creative ideas and visions. Speak your truth. That's a big one. Express your creativity through an artistic project or a new business idea. Oh, well, hell yes. Does this speak to you? Do any cards speak to you? Yes, but not this one. You feel you're expressing your individuality already? It even has a new moon. The card has a new moon. This is a fucking fabulous card. Okay, are we ready to practice some yoga? Yeah, you don't look ready. He looks like he's gonna fall asleep again. This is awesome. I'm gonna take this card. Allow your true self to shine because you're awesome. This is the best card. Thank you, fairies. I'm gonna take this over to the mat. I'm gonna lay my greyhound down in a sea of blankets. If you're watching this anywhere else, we are gonna actually have our full-length practice on yogagirl.com right now. We're gonna say goodbye to social media and see you on yogagirl.com for this practice. Okay, how am I gonna